running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Good morning, BigBeat. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Look, we always been saying for the last 2 weeks that the United States is not leading anymore. The ECB cutting rates this morning, leading, and we realized one thing with Bitcoin being up the way that it is, that the United States might not also be leading in crypto too, as the world realizes that these rates are being cut. So hey, here we go.
Yeah, that's big news. We also have President Trump and Chairman Xi supposedly had a talk at Trump's request. This data was released by the Chinese news services, but CNBC has confirmed it here. And that's what has markets moving this morning so far. You buying this phone call, or what do you think?
Nope, I am definitely not, because the other phone call that he had was to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who said that things were not so good and the war will continue and probably fight to the end. We now know that Putin is going to lose at roughly 1 million people in his country. That's quite a few people. And I do not think so. I think that the world is not quite well yet. And look, for those of you who are saying, oh, come on, get on the bandwagon. That's what I don't do, right? I don't go the FOMO. In fact, the opposite. When I saw the capitulation on the downside a few months ago, I was watching another show earlier today. I can't believe the market went up. I don't know what's going on. B bottoms. Yeah, that's right. It's important that you understand how the markets work, right? It's very important to understand how the levers of the economics actually work behind the scene. And in this case, capitulation happened a few months ago. I was very happy about it, and I went, and guess what? It corrected all the way back up. I just looked at my numbers, Howard. My quarter, for the quarter, not for the year, the quarter so far, I'm up 38.4%. No options. Didn't even need to use options on it, right? Why? Because I was not chasing. I was not selling when everybody was selling. I was buying. Remember, I want to be the ticker taker. You want to be the ticker taker out there. You don't want to be the one chasing all this stuff. Yesterday, we could have chased CoreWeave, right? We didn't chase it. I actually did make a play yesterday. That's after the thing. I did go long because I thought that the capitulation happened earlier in that morning after the pull back a bit, cleaned them all out, and it went straight up. And I like that. But what I didn't do, and I got out of it because I didn't feel comfortable with it. It's too fast of a mover right now. I'm not looking for another play right now. If anything, Howard, I'm looking for the downside. I'm looking to short this market. I think the market's pushed up. All of the normal things, like let's say going in the middle of summer, Russia, all of these problems. I'm not a happy camper here, and I might be shorting fairly soon.
Nice. Markets overseas were all up overnight. Stocks, Japan, everybody. We were pretty flat on the news there. We had actually gone down a little bit on labor reports, and then after the news of Trump's call, moved to the upside nicely. We see the Q's currently up about 27 basis points, SPY up about 30 basis points. Tick is positive, advanced decline up close to 2,000. So markets want to move up, it looks like, on the news. We'll see how that plays out throughout the day. We did have some big early morning movers. MongoDB on their earnings up about 18% on their strong Q1 earnings here. And
we're seeing a report from the information coming out saying NVIDIA's biggest Chinese rival, Huawei, is struggling to win at home. Yeah, we've been saying that for a long time, right? And here you go with MongoDB. I know dang well that MongoDB was going to do well. I know how much to pay them. It's expensive. It's not cheap. And AI, they're running the back ends for most of AI, and it's a thing called Sphere. Yeah, look, it's I understand this. MongoDB probably will be higher and higher and higher. I should have You know,
It'll be interesting if they're going to turn around, because this is one I asked you about when they gapped down here back in early March 5th to be exact. When it gapped down to 200, and you weren't a buyer at that point. You didn't like MongoDB.
Yeah, I wasn't a buyer. And okay, look, Christine Lagarde now coming out saying everything points to inflation settling at 2%. So as they come in, you're right. I didn't buy, and I wasn't quite sure yet. I should have known better because I knew what the numbers were, but I wasn't sure about the other side of the coin here, because you have to look at it also from, are they actually selling? Is AI still growing? The answer is yes. My bad. I'll call it all myself. But I did know that MongoDB was doing well. I just didn't know how well. And it's not really about earnings anymore, right? It's about guidance. So what is the guidance being sent? And they changed the tune on that. The guidance is a lot higher now. Still not buying it though. Now I'm not chasing it now. So I'm okay with that. I'll let it go.
Still down about 14.5% year to date there with MongoDB, but nice move back to the upside. We'll see if it's trying to challenge. We'll challenge the 200-day MA today, so maybe it gets above there and can see some more momentum, or maybe it gets rejected back down at that spot. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah. Robinhood, another early flyer today, up about 2.38%. Steve, up 92% in 6 months, and a lot of buzz that this Friday they might be one of the inclusions into the S&P 500. I had a laugh. Most of the names being mentioned are companies you have been very negative on, from Robinhood to now my mind just went completely blank. Carvana, to Athena, to I forget the fourth one. But it's interesting. A lot of interesting new names trying to move into the S&P 500. I think Robinhood is the one that gets the call.
Yes, I do. Because they are looking to do those kind of things, right? They're looking to bring those retail traders and investors into it, and that's a good way to do that. Thank you. It's a good way to do that, and yeah, and I like Robinhood. Everybody knows that. I like what they're doing. I'm not quite there yet with the next level of this. They got to prove themselves, right? It's okay to do that, but can they win in the non-trading time? That's what I want to know, and I think so.
They incorporate, for me, what Coinbase has done very well is the things they've bought, they've incorporated into their platform seamlessly. It's now, okay, you bought Bitstamp. How do you roll out crypto trading across your broader platform? They now offer stock options, crypto retirement accounts, high yield savings, and a gold reward card. So they have definitely significantly expanded their financial product suite. I love to see that part of it. They got 25.8 million users, up about 1.9 million year over year. And they're managing 221 billion in assets right now, up 70% year over year.
I'll tell you what the biggest news today to me was that Fidelity, Citibank, and JP Morgan all said that they're going to use your crypto account to secure your loans. That you can use it as an asset. Hello. We don't need Robinhood anymore, right? We don't need those companies anymore if the bigger firms are going to do it too, right? And all of a sudden that changes the narrative. So
I wonder though, Steve, because one of the things that I've been looking at or watching is that what millennials are doing versus what we do. We're fading out. And the next generation doesn't really necessarily care about Fidelity. They want to invest on Robinhood, on a cool little app that they've been using for, a couple of years. Where it is there is you have 30 years of trading with these legacy companies, and you have a great comfort level.
Yes, but the difference is that these kids these days are tired of losing money, right? They're ready to start to invest, and
they're about to assume over $3 trillion in inheritances over the next 5 years, pretty much.
And I've been talking about that for how many years?
They have the money. They're going to be the ones that move the needle. And, again, when you look at what Schwab and some of these companies, what their actually new users are versus, again, these more, youth-based ones, it's going to be interesting to watch it play out.
Let's put that in perspective. $3 trillion. And I call it and I've been talking about it for 5-10 years now, the great wealth transfer in history. I'm going to tamper that down a bit because $3 trillion wouldn't really move the needle. The market now is right around 35 trillion. So that's about
They
10%.
also have the highest earning power now too.
They do. That is very true.
So
I will say,
they're going to get you were just talking about how they lost money. They're going to get a windfall of money, unfortunately, from death of grandparents and parents.
Yeah.
And they're
they're
also
getting
the
it now, actually. Yeah, they're
highest
actually getting it now.
earning class. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Some of these, I mean, they're moving. The fact that Robinhood or Coinbase is even being talked about in the S&P 500, and you said that 2 years ago. Circle's IPO set ready to go today. Has all Wall Street up and excited. It looks like. We'll see how that plays out today. So we'll be watching that one. They're going to trade under CRCL, and it should start trading at some point today.
Yeah, just saw my friend Jay Woods posting about the Circle IPO today. Listen, you're right. The highest earning power now is millennials and not the new class coming up. They can't find jobs, right? We're seeing that now. You saw the jobs numbers coming out this morning. You're right. And here's what's really bad. Another 7,000 jobs being lost this morning.
P&G, Procter & Gamble.
Yeah, and there's several companies still doing this, and when you look at these companies like IBM talked about 800 jobs being lost there due to AI. I mean, I mentioned this 3 years ago. Learn AI, or you're going to be out of a job, and there was some pushback from people. Trust me. You better learn AI or you're out of the job. I mean, it doesn't matter what job you're in. You better learn AI. You better learn how to use it. Turn off your Google search and start using ChatGPT or Anthropic or whatever, Llama, Copilot, whatever you need. Because without that skill, without that, we call it prompting. Without that prompting skill, you're going to be in trouble. You need to know what.
I mean, even in colleges, they're now adopting it and saying, listen, we've got to teach kids, our students, how to use it and not be afraid of them using it. It's like a calculator, right? I'm old enough that they didn't want us to bring in our calculators into our math classes. And, especially when it came on your watch and they'd catch you doing it because you thought you were cool with your Casio calculator. I know you definitely had one.
I had a TI 35.
Yeah, there you go. But it's, there. And, like you said, the other part of this that I was interested in is these 7,000 jobs are non-manufacturing. I assume this was like a shutdown of a plant, something like that. These are non-manufacturing jobs. It's going to save them about $1 to $1.5 billion.
Why are we learning to? Why are we going back to manufacturing jobs? We're not a manufacturing country. We're going to go back to manufacturing to producing cars by hand. Like, I don't really understand that, Howard. The machines make our cars. The machines will make just about everything in the future. And we need to train people how to fix machines, because eventually machines are going to fix themselves. They're already doing that. They're self-healing now, software. It's a matter of time. You know what? I think we need to grow and stop trying to go backwards in time. Stop taking us back 50 years. Let's go forward 50 years and understand that, right? At the turn of the century, there was a mass, believe this or not, there were people out there that created these groups that were against vehicles and cars.
Oh,
they wanted to stop the car. Now, that's funny today. We laugh about that. Really, there were people, the temperance movement, they wanted to stop alcohol. How'd that go, right? You can't stop the future. So adopt with it, adapt, and move on, and try and make us for a better world. We don't have to fight the future. I know change is hard, right? Even for me. But I think what we're seeing now, you saw it with MongoDB this morning, up 13% for a reason, because AI is needed that much. You're seeing it. Huawei can't keep up with NVIDIA. You want to be a manufacture these cards, but it's not going to happen. You're going to have these machines. So be part of that world, and don't try to say, let's go back in time and go dig coal with our hands. Let's go dig coal with freaking machines.
Absolutely. I'm with you there. That's funny. Another company that you and I are not big fans of necessarily, just because we don't shop there. Five Below, up 6% pre-market. Nice move. And I told you about this one, that my wife and 5-year-old, it's their favorite store, and everything that I sort of laid out from, I feel stupid that I didn't invest in it. I mean, I gave a channel check from being dragged into that store 20 times in the last 6 months, and their revenue was up 20% year over year. Their EPS was a beat. Their sales were a beat. Their same store sales are up 7.1%. Transactions up 6.2%. So I guess brick and mortar isn't completely dead. It's just the way people consume. You and I have talked about, where do you see people shopping in the malls? I think Five Below is where they do shop. We see them, window shopping over at the Apple store and over at the watch company, but they're going to the Five Below because it's $5 and below, and that's where they're purchasing.
I'll leave that to you. I don't know Five Below at all. I will tell you what we have been saying, and I love this part about it, is that people are going to shops to feel and touch and put things on. I know a lot of people like to buy clothes and then send them back. I think that returns will be a thing of the past. I just bought a suit over yesterday. And you want to see my new suit, Howard? I just bought a new suit.
It's looking sharp.
And I don't want to go to the store anymore, right? I think you're going to see people wanting to show you how to look better, feel better, better clothing, better food, better whatever, and it'll be a personalized thing more than and you can't do that through Amazon, right? Amazon does what Amazon does and does it very well. It makes it very easy to purchase things, but that's why you saw Dick's Sporting Goods and Foot Locker and those places and Nike start to make that move, right? And I agree with that, right? These massive I've always said you know malls are great. But what if you could put the Nike store in the Dick's Sporting Goods? Oh, you can do that already, right? They're one of the biggest sellers of Nike shoes. So yeah, that's what I see right now. I like this move. Five Below has really done very well with this, especially with the cheaper versions of stuff. Yeah,
they definitely have. Dollar Tree yesterday on earnings tumbled pretty hard here, but analysts coming out left and right with bullish takes today. You've got JP Morgan, Telsey, Truist, Deutsche Bank, Barclays, Piper Sandler, Evercore, ICI, either maintaining or raising their expectations there. A lot of them over $100, trading at, was trading at 88, now at 90 bucks. So a nice little bounce back here from Dollar Tree.
Yeah, again, I don't shop at Dollar Tree. I don't really know what's going on there. It's usually a telltale sign when money is moving into there because that they think the economy is falling apart. Right now, Dollar Tree and Dollar General and those, I guess, can almost put Five Below in that category, maybe a step above. I don't want to see that, right? I will say this much. And we've been talking about the recession for a while because we're in it, and you heard it from Todd Horowitz as well, talking about being in the recession. When I look at recession and I go, are we in a recession? Now, in the last few months, you and I, especially you, have been, and Peter Thomas, have been talking about gold, right? In general, that the price of gold has been going up. The thing we've been talking about is the gold-silver ratio. Right, it hasn't been normalized yet. Gold is now under 3,400, and silver is almost $36 an ounce. I called it 43. Right, I said, look, we're going to 43 at some point. Things are not good. The gold to silver ratio. Silver is what we call the poor man's gold. I like silver. I collect silver. I have silver coins, silver bars. If you don't know, I use AU Secure, which we have right in our system, by the way. You can go right in the system, click on the button, and you can actually buy gold and silver. We're still going up, by the way. I don't see anything stopping that. And today, the gold and silver reaction, the ratio has come down quite heavily. So it was over 100. It was when it gets over 100, then that's usually a telltale sign to buy silver. Back down 93, 98 today. So that tells me that we're not out of the woods. Tells me the markets are not ready to healing. Buy the dip might be out a little bit. Christine Lagarde now saying we're getting to the end of the monetary policy cycle. Yikes! Does that mean that she's going to stop cutting? I don't know what's going on. The monetary cycle here for her has been You know what? I've complained
Well,
about
as Steve Flanagan
it.
says, 2% where they're at now is fairly neutral.
It's very neutral. Yeah, he's extremely right.
You want to let things go. Yeah, you want things to be able to move up and down. Planet Labs, Steve, up 24.81%, not 18%, rocketing here. Dan Ives, Widbush analyst, said that Planet Labs finds itself in the center of a multiple market-changing transformations that will present significant opportunities in the pipeline to generate durable, profitable growth in fiscal year 2027. And they raised their estimate from $5 to $7. You a buyer in Planet Imaging?
I don't know to be Debbie Downer here this morning, but I don't think so. I don't want to chase again, right, Howard? I mean, I think that the AI is here and it's coming, it's growing, and it's building. I saw Copilot jumping on my computer this morning. I didn't even put it in, right? Look, I think that AI is taking over on everything now at this point. We're still in the first inning, as I've been saying for a while. Maybe not even the first few pitches haven't even been thrown yet. But I hate to say it, but picks and shovels here are the key for AI, and it's still, to me, I like the MongoDB play better than if you're going to go that direction.
Cool. Also moving today,
Germany's
PVH
bond. Hang on one second, Howard. We're seeing Germany's 2-year bond jumping here now. It's now up nearly 5 basis points. Wow. If you remember, we talked to Michael Litt about that. That was his big deal, was to buying the bond market there. Look at him. He's crushing it today.
Yeah.
Oof. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say PVH is another one moving up nicely today. On the headline.
PVH.
They had worse than expected revenue. Adjusted EPS came in higher than expected, but they did talk again about tariffs impacting and softening sales in Europe. I was interested here because this is a company that makes their goods here in the U.S. and then ships them over abroad in the in the garment industry, and we don't have many of those. So that's sort of what I was looking at with this one. To see what they would say about tariffs. So it looks like they're worried about it from the other side of it. They don't maybe think we're going to get that turned around too quickly, it sounds like.
Yeah, tariffs are still affecting the world, right? And it's not changing. PVH being a good example of that. When I hear that Xi Jinping and Trump had a good conversation, what was the conversation? Talk to me about the specifics. What actually were they talking about, right? I'm glad they had a good conversation. I'm glad they get to know who their families are, but I want to know tell me how you're affecting the markets, right? Tell me what it is that you actually talked about. Give me something substantive. Don't just give me, we had pleasantries. It was a nice call. I'm going to take a ride on his yacht. That's great, right? I'm going to be in his military parade. Great. Oh, I'm having one too. You want to come to my parade too? Great. But what I don't want to see is them talking about, you raised tariffs on me at 100%. I'm going to raise it on 150%. But you know what? I'll lower it by 50% if you lower. That's a great talk. No, it's not. You're still having a tariff problem, right? I need to know specifics before I really make an answer to that. And let's be honest. If you want to get real down and dirty, how about Elon Musk and Trump not having calls anymore? Elon Musk this morning on Twitter call your congressmen and senators and tell them to defeat the bill, Trump's big beautiful bill, right? So there's not happiness in happy land here.
With that one, you knew. If you didn't see that one coming at some point with those two egos, then you just were crazy.
How about this one, Howard? How about you taking a victory lap? You didn't take a victory lap on UiPath. On Pat, you bought $13 calls and held on. I think people need to understand that fortitude is important. You didn't think about the rest of the stuff. You knew the path was underappreciated. We bought it together pretty much, and look at you holding on to $13 calls. How are you doing on that position?
Oh, it's up over 100% now.
That's the key,
Yeah.
right? Is having
And
that.
I'll hold it, and then they're not till July 20, whatever it is, July 20th, I think. So I'll be
Will
holding
you
it
be
as well.
taking some profit anytime soon?
Well, I remember I took half profit, so
Yeah.
I did take half profit. I will hold the rest probably for another week or so. I don't want to have time decay to start coming in. It doesn't really come in until 45 days out. We're right about that area, so I'll wait to that spot. Because I think it has more upward movement today. I was targeting that 14 area as where I think it bounces back to. So
Wow.
no, I like it. One of the other companies I like, though, not doing very well today. Brown-Forman down 18. Actually, it was taking even worse. I'll find it here. Down 16% here, almost 17%. They missed revenue EPS by about 3 cents, but top line revenue missed. Was expected to come in at 965 million, came in at 894. That's a pretty big miss for a liquor company, quite honestly. And their sales declined across all major segments: the U.S., developed international markets, and emerging markets. And they expect their net sales to decline to low single digits year over year. Claim tariff pressure on global exports, discretionary consumer spending down amid economic uncertainty, and macroeconomic headwinds. So they blame it all on the government.
It's easy to point fingers, right?
Yeah, they really are. Their CEO Lawson Whiting wasn't one to hold back. Basically said, "Don't look at me. Look at everybody else." They did say, alcohol sales globally are under pressure as inflation and a shifting preference to RTD or cannabis has especially hurt their higher priced items like Woodford Reserve and Jack Daniels. Hard to maintain that volume at those high price points.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw one more, and then I'll help the CEO out. Weight loss drugs, alcohol sales are really are down. I was just on a cruise. I've been out and about a little bit in the last few months. Sales of alcohol are really down. And I don't. It's not just Jack Daniels. I'd say Constellation Brands too. I think we are open now.
We are open. First moves to the upside here.
13, 17 now on your path, UI path now. Bitcoin 105.8 now. I'm liking that again. Get back up there. And Nvidia 143 again. Now this is where I sold it to begin with. I do like that a little bit.
Yeah, Mag 7, you've got Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Meta all opening to the upside. Tesla getting hit pretty hard today. Again, there was more news, not just about him fighting with the president, but their sales dipped in China and Europe again last month.
They did. And I will say that Tesla is not just a car company anymore, right? It has become more than that. 323, 322.95 now. Okay, so I'm watching a little bit here.
Hughes pulling back. Couldn't break that 531 so far. Got nice room to 538 today, though, on any kind of strength. So President Lagarde now saying, "I am not confirming a pause."
$320 now.
Negative here a little bit. Tick's gone negative. We're pulling back a little bit across everything.
Yeah, and I Howard, I just bought a little Tesla here.
Nice.
On that 319.60, so I'm down about a little bit here. Could probably pick up a little more here if I need to. I do like this slip a bit here. Yeah, I'm going to buy just a little bit more here. There we go. Yeah, I'm liking this a little bit.
I will mention I'm also in a trade on Mara, M-A-R-A. I entered late.
And I have a Mara hat for you, my man.
There you go. I'm looking for them to push back up to the 200-day MA here. I bought a naked call for next month again. I have the 16 call looking for a run to 17.
All right, and I will average these out a little bit for everybody here. 319.60 plus 318.
I'm also short Ethereum futures on Coinbase.
So I am long 318.98. We're at 319.44 now, so I'll probably take some profit. 319.57. I'll probably take some trade now. 320 now, so I will probably take a, yeah, look at that. I like this here. 320.
I think you get room to 323.
Yeah, I think so. Probably not go all the way there, but I do like this slip a little bit in the Tesla here. Back to 320 here. We can get a little bit over there. We should be good.
Q's right in the middle of the range here at 530 even. SPY is up going 9 basis points here. Dow Jones down about 4 basis points. RUT is completely flat. Gold back trying to push to 3,400 here. Silver at 36. Bitcoin, as Steve said, 105, 550 currently. Crude continuing to push back up, Steve. We see WTI at 63.22 here.
Yeah, let's see some of these countries are starting to pull back a little bit. They're kind of tired of losing money a little bit, right?
Yeah. I'm starting to get a little interested maybe in buying some future VIX calls here as some protection, as it's still sitting in that.
As our friend Scott Barrett said, right.
Yeah, it's bottomed out right at this 1750 area. It doesn't seem to want to break below it. And again, I like to buy that insurance before I need it. So
that's right.
I might be looking at that. If I decide to hold my positions overnight, I will probably get some VIX as some protection. There we go, man. 1582, go. Come on.
Keeping our eye here now on the dollar, continue to slip here a bit. The dollar slipping makes our products cheaper. I mean, it's that helps with our tariff issue here.
Yeah, I mean, you saw I was talking with Ron Williams and some of our folks last night or earlier this morning because they were talking about, does the U.S., is this the goal? And it's pretty much been planted out. Michael Litt talked about it with us, and I think with both of us on 2 different interviews about the fact that Secretary Treasury Bessent and Lutnick over at Commerce, that is one of the levers that they feel they can pull to offset this tariffs, and to offset rates.
They did it last time, right? Last administration, that's exactly what they did, right? So yeah.
So don't it'll be interesting because I do we do know Mr. Flanagan's still calling for King Dollar to return. End of June, beginning of July was his area here. Wonder if he's still confident in that. And my takeaway there is there's no other currency that's in a better situation. China is hitting deflation. If I don't see a big surge by the yen or the Swiss franc, there's safe haven currencies. It doesn't.
I bought a little more Tesla here, down here on this slip. Yeah, I think we.
It's been staying a little bit negative. Advanced decline down to about 1,200. Q's back below 530. So we've seen a little slip here. Not anything too crazy, but a little slip across. Not a bunch of stuff moving, really. So MongoDB, Nebius Group, 5 below, all the big double-digit winners so far this morning. On the other side of that, we've got Brown Forman down 15%, the Descartes Group, System Group down about 10%, CoreWeave down about 7% here, BGM Group down about 5%. So not really a ton of things that have a huge amount of movement. AI getting hit here a little bit. Rigetti down 4% here today. Where's that trading at? I don't think Rigetti is all the way there for me, but I think if Rigetti got down a little bit lower here today towards 1090, I would be interested in maybe looking at a bounce play there. About the same spot where I bounced back here in the middle of May when I made that trade. Might try it again. So the other one, Steve, that's moving up nicely, Galaxy Digital, Mike Novogratz's company that just got on the New York Stock Exchange and was struggling, moving back up about 4.76% again today. And for the, 3-month period, up 40%. So definitely seeing some nice movement there by Galaxy Digital. Palantir was down pretty big in the pre-market, now up on the day. So Palantir reversing its fortune so far this morning. Same thing on the other side of that, APLD, Applied Digital, which was up early in the pre-market, now down a 0.5 percentage point. Same thing, WeRide had been up in the pre-market trading, now down 2.73%. Marvell similarly had been up over a percentage point in pre-market, now down 20 basis points there. Steve, another one that was up earlier is sort of flat now. Your Cheesecake Factory has been making quietly a big move without you and I noticing it.
Yeah, how about that? We knew that, right? But didn't.
Oh, you were all over it. It hit an all-time high yesterday.
Yeah,
57. Now almost a $3 billion company.
It's crazy, isn't it? But
Yeah,
they're growing. They're growing.
They call it. My wife and the little one call it cake when they're going to go get cake. So they like that too. That's an interesting one here. Do you start to look at the chart and think about shorting here when you're at all-time highs? Where you
or take profit? I wouldn't short it, but I'd take profit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's there. That chart's interesting.
I'm getting hit a little bit hard on Tesla, but I'm holding steady. Howard on Tesla. I'm gonna stick to my thesis here.
And my Mara that was up just took a big dump there in the last few seconds. Went from up almost a full percentage point to down 70 basis points. Seeing some volatility across the crypto stock so far this morning. Banks are all getting hit pretty hard today. JP Morgan down 75 basis points. Wells Fargo down 1.15. So yesterday's good news not sustaining too much there. In fact, since that news, it's taken really a pullback. It jumped all the way to 78.71. Now it's pulled back to 74.40. That was one of those where, like you say, don't look for the first move, look for the second move.
Right. There's a little bit of pump there in Tesla. There you go.
Tick still slightly negative. Advanced decline has dropped in half down to 581. And we now are struggling to see the Qs regain 530 and SPYs sitting right around 596, close to even on the day. Dow Jones is slightly negative and the RUT slightly negative. So pretty even across the board here so far this morning. Looks like most of those satellite companies getting hit. ASTS also down about 2% today. Man, that other one that just can't seem to get footing is Berkshire Hathaway, continuing to slide again.
Yep. Uncle Warren's leaving, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't be looking at this now to the 200-day MA down at around 480. Nice move up by Coinbase here today, up about 1.15%. Well, a decent amount of that is going to be based on the news. They get about 50% of the profits that come from the creation of USDC stablecoins in their partnership with Circle. And with Circle's valuation exceeding expectations here today, you do see that same type of move in Coinbase so far. John Deere up 1%.
Yeah, the advanced decline line is slipping quite heavily here now, down 400.
Yeah. You're definitely seeing weakness here. Question is, are we seeing a flight into gold? Not really, sitting about flat from where it was.
No, but silver's holding up nicely. 35.
I'm just more mean since the cash open was money moving there. It's right where it was. It was right at 36 when we opened. We were right at 33.85 on gold. So they haven't really been. I don't see the money moving there. I haven't looked at rates yet today. They are down 10 years, 4.34. Definitely a mixed bag here. Definitely a mixed bag. Wow, Tesla now down at 315.99.
Yep, not a happy camper there. I'm at 318.80 now. So
yeah, my Ethereum trade is moving in the right direction because I am short. My long Mara not so well.
There you go, Tesla. 317 now. Get back up there. I think we're okay with Tesla. I think Tesla probably. CNN now confirming that the call with Xi Jinping is over now. So,
well, that should be interesting because usually that means we'll probably hear him talk, right?
Tweet. Let's go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be short in that when he tweets here. Great call. It's the best call ever. I never had a better call in my entire life.
Oh, yeah. Well, remember, he just yesterday said he's a very tough man to negotiate with.
He did. Yes.
Yeah, weakness so far.
It is very, very weak. Yeah. Not liking this at all.
Tick still negative now, down to 522 on that advanced decline. So Hughes just went negative on the day. SPY just went negative on the day. So the euphoria, from that call, that has me a little bit worried for upside opportunity. And it's early to put that type of statement out there. But what I'm saying is normally, any kind of good news that we had seen on tariffs had us absolutely mooning, right?
Yeah.
And we're not seeing that reaction here. That's a little. And now VIX, I said it, but now it's moving up before I get to there. 1790, 18. So volatility coming back into play. Was not quick enough to that move.
Yeah, Bitcoin slipping here too as well. 313 and advanced decline went negative here on the day.
I will say I am short-term bearish on Bitcoin today. Just the way it's trading, nothing crazy there. Just think we're going to challenge that 103.50 area. Although I will tell you what's going to be interesting to watch is Solana.
Here reporting about Speaker Mike Johnson and Elon Musk will talk today. We'll have a chat today.
Ooh. Solana is one I'm keeping an eye on closely. On-chain metrics show a huge bias to the short side on Solana, which could cause any kind of move up a great short squeeze based on liquidations. I'm targeting 157.85. Any kind of move to the upside to that could be interesting. If you flush down below 145.83, you're shooting right to 136.
All right, here we go. President Trump will speak to the press between 12 and 1 p.m. He will share details about his call with Xi Jinping. That's interesting. Why would he not do it earlier than that? That makes me nervous.
Oh, they just want to put everything in line. He likes the lunchtime move.
And Tesla now down almost 6% here on the day. Ouch. As advanced decline line continues to slip here, down 317 here.
Ooh, yeah.
VIX is pushing higher here now. BXX now 52.18, pushing higher even. Oh, not good. I make a mistake here today, Howard.
Yeah, my mirror's not looking too good either. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not nervous though on that one. Again, I have a small position. It is down 20% today. But it's still going negative here. We are still seeing weakness. And the algos haven't even finished off yet. So do we see the algos slow down here? Maybe we get some buyers by retail. Let's see what comes today. Does not look like a buy the dip day. You might want to wait till you see some confirmation today. There and keep going. Q's now down 16, 17 basis points, 527. So we've lost $2 off the Q's here.
Yes. A little bit of a bounce here. A bit. Come on.
Back at 1788, so maybe we can get back down to my level there to get something going. Tick still negative 194. Advanced decline now negative 300. We are continuing to slide there. Nvidia's gone negative. Apple's gone negative. Meta's gone negative out of the Mag 7. So big and small getting hit here. Those look like brick and mortar retailers having a pretty good day. Abercrombie and Finch up 2.64. Best Buy up 1.02%. Costco not having a good day. 102.5 though. And while Coinbase turned over, now down almost a full percentage point. Seeing some wild swings here, Steve.
JP Morgan, CEO of Asset and Wealth Management, that's Mary Erodes, says we're going to have inflation, but the U.S. consumer is fine. Also goes to say that we're not seeing stresses in the U.S. consumer anywhere, which is remarkable. I don't know about all
that. Yeah, I don't think I'm buying that one for $1.
ECB's projections now says a mild scenario sees inflation at 1.7% in 2026. Severe sees it at 1.5. Wow.
Wouldn't that be backwards?
It is backwards, yes.
Yeah, I think they have that backwards.
They did.
I also see that they just posted that same financial juice that ECB thinks that King Dollar is not coming back anytime quick, since they say $1.11 versus the US dollar in 2025, $1.13, 2026, and 2027. So it looks like they think they are going to gain today.
You know what? One Bitcoin is still one Bitcoin.
That's right. Although actually today it's trading at 114, so that is not really a big change. It actually would be losing ground to the US dollar.
Yeah, it is.
Man, this is just a bloodbath here. Tick down 500 still. Advanced decline 80.62. Now almost down $5 from the highs on the SPY.
Yeah.
Q's down. Q's bounced a little bit back
and
up.
The BXX is flat on the day. I mean, we're not seeing it's a little bit.
That's what I mean, is I'm not seeing that. Yeah, it's a weird divergence here. The VIX has really been stuck at the 17 level. That's why I said it might for me be time to buy it because it doesn't like to stay sideways. Gold dropped down 30 below right at 33.80. So again, we're not seeing a flight to safety. Bitcoin at 1046. Nope. That's down.
I'm buying this.
I don't. It's again one of these days where you're like, it just is everybody just selling everything today.
I would say what's happening is maybe the options market is affecting this, right? This is not selling as in like wholesale selling. So no, I don't think so. I mean, we are advanced decline now down 1,000, still not quite heavy. There goes Tesla's. There's a little pump there. There's a little Q pump here. The bottom might be found here. 315 now in Tesla. Get back up there, baby. I think I'm in the wrong business. Alpha's bought Hailey Bieber's Rhode Cosmetics company for $1 billion. Maybe I need to start my own cosmetics company, Howard.
There you go.
Would you buy my perfume?
I don't know. I'm not a big. You have to go. Will it be available at Five Below? Is the question.
Probably not.
If it isn't, then I'm not in. I only buy my, as we call it again, smell nices. We only buy our smell nices at Five Below.
Buy your cologne at Five Below.
A little one does. She buys her smell nices. Yes. Yeah, it's all kinds of stuff like that. T-shirts. It'd be the female version of oh, now my mind. What was in every mall that used to have like the black velvet paintings and the like risque T-shirts? What was that company back in the 90s, Steve? Come
on. Repeat that again. The T-shirts.
There was that company. They had they were in every mall, and they had like risque T-shirts and black velvet paintings and like sexually Spencer Gifts. That's what I'm saying. Five Below would be Spencer Gifts for little girls.
Greenberg is having a senior moment on the air.
Yeah, I really was. I couldn't think of the name to save my life. Steve, we are just not seeing much going on here. Just dropping down.
I'm going to stay long on Tesla. I think Tesla's going to be okay today. I think they're going to pull it out, and I think it's going to be okay today. I do.
Wow, 314. Yeah, it keeps dropping.
It's off the lows, and it's a little quieter day today, so I'm okay with this. I think the selling in Tesla is a little overdone, overcooked because of Trump spat. We'll call it spat because they're still friends. He went to every damn thing with him. So
yeah, they're just having a bro fight.
Yeah, we never had one of those. I don't think, have we?
I would say it could drop to 305 here first before the bounce. That 200-day MA looks like it's magneting it in.
It's very quiet today. I mean, this is a very quiet market here. I'm kind of concerned.
It's not much.
Maybe it's still trying to digest the ECB stuff. I don't know. We were at 106 earlier on Bitcoin. It dropped to 104.4. You were right. They're trying to
103.8 is what I was looking for. At 103.8, it will be make it or break it time. Wow, cool. We really dropping, Steve. You were a day ahead on that drop. 145.45 here.
On what?
CoreWeave.
Oh yes. Yeah, I should have just stayed short, huh? Today's the day for release of the two for Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah.
And I've heard pretty good sales so far. So I mean, I keep our eye on NTDOI, but CoreWeave was an easy win for me. It was pretty obvious what was going on there.
Nintendo gapped down this morning.
Yeah, I mean, buy the rumor, sell the news, right? I haven't kept up with the actual sales numbers yet, but I think you can actually buy one if you really wanted to buy one today. You could find one.
I think when people figured out how much the games for it cost, it scared some people away.
Slowed down, yeah.
And $100 a game is a lot.
I mean, I'm buying, I'm playing Call of Duty zombies. I'm killing zombies now, so
Yeah, for free.
yeah.
For a yearly, subscription with 17 other
I
games.
think I paid $20 to make my guy look like an alien. I don't know. That's a lot.
I'm sure you are one of those guys. I need my Ethereum futures to break below 2,600 here. Tried once, trying again. Get me to my first target. Yeah, Bitcoin trying to bounce here. Let's see. This is sort of the key area. Falls below this 104,400. Look for 103.8.
Yeah, it's a little bit of another bounce here. We're seeing a little bit of bottoming here, I think.
Could be. We are seeing a little bit of a bounce across
It is
everything.
10 o'clock, Howard. I do have a meeting to go to, so take us home.
Absolutely, everybody. Be careful out there today. Markets do look like they are getting a little bit of a bottom here, so it could be the opportunity to go long on that situation. But, be safe out there, everybody. We'll see you back tomorrow morning.